Welcome to the Scarlet Wolf podcast. I'm Brown Wolf with my co-host
Hi there.
Scarlet. Every time.
Uh, hey, how's it?
It's been going good. How's it been going with you?
Uh, uh, hmm. My cell phone broke again.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm cell phoneless. Uh, so I'm doing everything old school. I'm writing down my work schedule. Um, have it plugged into the wall. I can use it as a landline, but if
Yeah.
I unplug it, it's so.
Yeah. I had to get rid of my iPhone 8 recently. I actually really like that phone, but Sprint kind of
Oh
scammed me.
yeah. What are iPhones even like?
Oh, they're good. The first smartphone I had was one of those like iPhone freeze, so I've always had them. I've never really used an Android.
Really?
Yeah, I had a Pixel for maybe like a couple days to just
Mm-hmm.
try it out, but I didn't. I had to switch back to Sprint because Verizon didn't cover my area. They didn't have the Pixel at
Oh
the time.
really?
Yeah, the Pixel was exclusive to Verizon at the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'd like to switch to Android. It's just I'm so like ingrained with the Apple over the years that it'd be hard to switch over now.
Yeah,
So
I'm just use Android, so I'll be sticking to that.
yeah, eventually.
That and iPhones are expensive, man.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of problems with iPhones. I would really like to switch over eventually. I might
Maybe
it depends on
someday.
it. It depends. It just came out. I have to see how it does over the years, but do you remember the Motorola Razr?
I remember seeing an app, and it was like, wow, look how thin this is, and I was how easy,
You had it
and
too.
ever since.
Yeah, anyway, one of my first phones was a Motorola Razr, the old kind, the flip phone.
Oh yeah, okay. So I remembered what I was talking about before. I was talking about I want to know how easy it is to snap that thing because it's so thin. Like when I saw the ad for that, I just got the urge to, and just right over
Those
my
things
knee.
were those things were
And
indestructible.
like in my afterlife, do it. Like,
No, I don't think you could honestly. It's really they were really strong was the deal.
really?
Yeah, I think one of my friends also had it. He dropped it from like a two-story like he was up on a second floor and he dropped it just to test it and it still worked. Didn't even like have a scratch on it.
Just to test. Gee,
He was a
wow.
dumb guy. We were young too.
Ugh, man, I can't eat. Oof,
Yeah,
just
but
to test it.
yeah, but now that they brought it back, but it's like it's a weird. It's a smart phone that, but it folds out.
Wait, so it folds. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, it took me a second. All
let me see. I could probably find a video of it.
right, I would appreciate.
Yeah,
I'm a very visual person. I
If
need
you ever by
to. I'm kidding. I'm trying to fill the dead air here with my ramble. It's not working out very. All right, that box is unique. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah. It's just the
It
folding thing.
opens up like a fucking lightsaber. Like a
Yeah.
lightsaber. That's like a lightsaber. It's not as thin as. Oh, it's like a smartphone. That's like a flip phone. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about it folding in some crazy new way.
Well,
But
yeah,
if it's just a smartphone that flips.
yeah. I don't know, but the whole screen flips. I don't know how long that's gonna last.
Yeah. You mean like in terms.
Yeah, long term.
like it lasting for like a year and then it starts showing problems.
Yeah, because it's brand new, so.
I'd really like to be able to close my phone just so that, I don't know, the screen is protected
Yeah,
more.
that would be nice. Also, it's more convenient to carry in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. I have these tiny, in all of my, except for my, and they like barely fit my cell phone. But like my cell phone's gonna, if I do anything too strenuous or anything.
Yeah.
Wow, this is riveting podcast.
it's,
Uh,
it's alright. I think it's all good.
all right. I'm just talking about my cell phone fitting into my pocket, going on this big rant, and okay, I'm done. Next time.
So
I'm
I haven't done.
sorry.
It's alright. I actually haven't, I haven't been able to do much the past week because we are extremely understaffed at my kitchen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good. It's
What's
just,
been going on?
oh,
Like,
we just had like a
oh, probably
bunch of
can't
people
talk about
quit.
it too much.
Yeah, I won't go into specifics, but I just like we lost a ton of people.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, my work is really understaffed.
yeah.
Oh,
So
I see
I
what
was
you mean.
gonna try to watch some stuff to talk on the podcast, but I didn't get a chance, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Yeah. So what did you
Um,
end up watching? I know you mentioned you finished something on Netflix.
yeah, I finished Register of an Insect Cage,
Okay.
which is a Netflix original anime, and it was not good. So you might as well just stop listening there. Oh man, uh, generic and tropey. Like, it's about this girl named Illy who got separated from her body and is now working in a diner on the wall between Western civilization and the rest of the world that has been taken over by giant bugs that people turn into now sometimes.
Huh. That sounds interesting. The plot sounds
Yeah, but
interesting, actually.
and it should be, and it kind of is. Like it's not. It's not. Well,
I so this is funny, and I may honestly cut this out myself because I don't know, but
yeah,
there's one thing I watched like a bit of. I couldn't get through the whole thing. Uh,
yeah,
where do you mostly watch your anime on? Just Netflix?
yeah. Netflix these, but I've also got Netflix and Hulu. Hulu has some anime too. Hulu
Yeah,
has Higurashi, which is one of my favorite anime.
yeah. Um, so are you familiar? Have you heard about that animation that anime that Funimation pulled?
uh, no, I did not. Funimation.
Yeah, it was. I see why they pulled it. It's called what's it called? It's called Interspecies Reviewers.
Interspecies.
Yeah, here I'll pull up the article. It's pretty famous, but
What does it mean?
well, well. So to give a brief overview of the news story, at least on it. Um, it's based off of a manga that apparently is not that. It's like lewd, but it's not, dirty. It doesn't show anything. And
So it's
Funimation
etchy.
was doing a simulcast of it. But whoever made the anime decided to go like as far as you can go before it becomes like hentai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm trying to
And
pull
they
up.
didn't realize that because they were simulcast?
Yeah, they pulled it immediately after episode 3. Let me see.
Wow. How
Cancel.
bad was it?
It's pretty
So you saw.
damn bad. I can see
Oh,
why.
yeah?
Yeah. So the basic plot is these 4 kind of dragon D&D kind of characters: an elf, an angel, and and just like a human guy go to brothels and rate different, species, D&D species. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, if they
Oh,
didn't
man.
get so graphic with it, it might actually be funny. But
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking at first. Like, I was just thinking, I don't know,
yeah,
something like,
I
or
only
in high
watched
school.
a brief clip of it because I had to know what was so bad about it that they ended up spending all that money and then immediately canceling.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, is the show going to keep going in Japan?
it airs on TV in Japan, which honestly surprises me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it still
Yeah,
airs
so,
there. I think there's still some other uh, companies that air it on the streaming sites. I don't know if like Crunchyroll has it or anything, but yeah, I posted the link to the news article in the chat.
yeah, okay, the more I read about it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't
uh,
expecting that.
wow. After careful consideration, we determined that the series falls outside of our standards. We have the utmost respect for our creators, so rather than substantially alter the content, we felt that taking it down was the most respectful. I mean,
So I watched.
yeah, it's also the easiest choice
Yeah, I
because now
watched
you don't
the
have to spend the
censored
time and
one, and it
money.
was still pretty bad. Like I think someone told me because I didn't really watch it past the first few minutes of the first episode. That like there's just one scene that they had to cut to black.
Really?
Yeah, apparently there's an uncensored version. I don't know where you'd get it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That
that's
exists. Thanks,
yeah that
anime.
exists, and that's the
That
only.
should be the name of one of our segments. Thanks.
Yeah, I gotta get more into anime. So it's actually funny. On the Discord server, a lot of people think I'm like a really lewd guy, but stuff like that
Yeah.
actually makes me kind of uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm not like opposed to it, obviously, but it just makes me like kind of blush. I just I
Yeah.
think like nudity is kind of funny. Like whether it be boy or girl, I think it's actually kind of funny.
Oh, you just find it humorous?
Yeah, I just find it funny. It depends on the
Huh.
context of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't have a whole lot to say in reply other than that's cool.
Yeah, I just
Sorry.
thought it might be interesting. I've heard a lot of other podcasts talk about it.
Talk about nudity.
Not nudity. I'm just talking about the Funimation story.
Right. Yeah, no, that was a good segment.
Yeah,
Solid.
yeah. Um, so I guess we could get into the news, unless there's anything else you'd like to talk about.
Nothing off of the top of my head.
Okay.
No, I think I'm all good.
Okay, I'll just go in order of what I have open here. So the first
Okay.
story we have. Do you remember Neopets at all?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I was introduced to Neopets back in middle. Right, I remember. So there's a Neopets animated TV series. I don't remember who's working on it. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm reading through it too.
I, I when I read the article, their name didn't stand out to me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's a Canadian company called Blue Ant Media. I'm gonna Google what else they've done, but I'm not very familiar with them.
It wasn't much.
Yeah.
Blue Ant Media.
Okay, I have it. They seem to be mostly make nature documentaries or something.
Might not
BBC,
be the same Blue Ant Media.
maybe not. Let me see.
Or
Let me try typing in animation. See if that comes up any.
oh yeah, it's headquartered in Toronto. Yeah, this has got to be them.
Yeah.
You're right. They do make a lot of nature stuff.
Yeah, it looks like this might be their first animated project. I'm not finding anything really. Yeah, it says here they launched a new animation studio in 2017. So this might be their first project.
Oh, it's under Beach House.
Oh,
Canadian broadcasting company Blue Ant Media has earned exclusive rights to develop a Neopets TV series under its Singapore-based production company, Beach.
oh,
So Beach House Pictures is the one actually developing the characters and the.
huh, neat. Let me see what they have worked on. And
Yeah,
sorry to the
sure.
listeners, we were getting a little more organized, but we didn't think to look up this kind of stuff.
I mean, you could. Oh, Beach House Pictures just gives me Beach House Pictures.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah, I'm getting some beach house pictures. Yeah, I'm
Maybe
not
this
finding them.
podcast can be interactive.
Yeah, maybe. We do post on YouTube right now. That's pretty much our only place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, I found that really interesting. I'm kind of curious what else from the 2000s they're going to start rebooting.
Yeah. Do you know much about like the lore? Can you give me
No, I don't know about
a
Neopets.
deep?
Not too much. I played it once or twice on like they had a web browser thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was just a browser-based thing where you would, take care of your pet and
Yeah.
the world of Neopets. I don't remember what it was. It was not really my.
So I played that. I played a bit of Club Penguin when I was a kid.
Did you ever play Toontown? That was my
Oh,
jam.
I played with my cousins for a while. My parents never bought me a subscription, so I didn't play it that long. But
Oh, that's too bad.
yeah, my cousins and I would play that and RuneScape.
RuneScape, yeah. I remember RuneScape. I
Yeah,
remember mining for rune and it made me feel so cool, like I was a magic preparing.
yeah. I think you can
I
still
was
play it. I'm
pretty young.
pretty sure they actually released the
You
version on
still
phones.
play it?
Yeah, I think they even released the version on phones. I've seen like ads for it.
I could see RuneScape on.
Yeah, I think there's like a classic mode, and then there's like an updated mode, like I guess World of Warcraft did. Because I know one of the podcasts I follow has a guy named Critical. You may have heard of him on like YouTube before. He's big
Yep.
into RuneScape.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just
Shout
find
out to the
RuneScape.
official podcast. That's a really good podcast.
Which pod?
It's called the official podcast, actually.
The official pod.
Yeah, I always thought
Gotcha.
that was a clever name. I wish I came up with it. Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
but they've been going for like years.
Maybe I should give it a shot once I get my phone situation figured.
Yeah, here I will post that in the chat if I can.
Okay. And will all of these links be posted in the description?
Yes, all of them will be posted in the description.
All right. So then this is officially an interactive podcast. Scroll through the description and
Yeah.
tell us how wrong we were in our coverage.
Yeah. We also actually have I was going to promote this at the end of the podcast, but we do have a Gmail account where you can send us questions. And I believe I had it up. I believe it is.
Or statement. Or leave on
yeah,
stories.
You can leave them in the comments too.
Yeah. But I'd prefer email. If you've got a scoop.
Yeah.
Because then you're a source. And, and that I've always wanted to source. Anyway. The cat's trying to get into my room.
Oh, what kind of cat you have?
I don't know what kind of cat she is. She's adorable. That's all I.
Okay. It's scarlettwolfpod@gmail.com.
ScarletWolfpod@gmail.com. I was hoping you'd repeat it one more time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is scarlettwolfpod@gmail.com.
I shouldn't have set up something and then just expected you to read my mind. Oh my. Okay.
And that should be in the description of each video too. I know I put it in the first one. Yeah, you can send us questions. You can send us anything. Send us art you find interesting. Send us bad fan fiction we might laugh at.
Ooh, bad fan fiction is good.
Yeah, I always love the crazy shit you can find, like the weird crossovers.
Oh yeah, weird. You mean like Scooby Doo and Urkel?
Oh no, I mean weirder. I once because I used to love reading bad fan fictions when I was younger, around like 13. So I remember one of the funniest ones I ever read, and I've tried to find it again, but I think that site no longer exists. Was that really old show, the Andy Griffin Show versus Batman? So that was like the weirdest fanfic I ever read.
That sounds kind of interesting. Okay. The Andy Griffith Show versus. Okay, what era of that?
I think that from the I can only remember because they mentioned.
Wait, is it actually hurt? They fight, or is it like a cross where they work together?
It's one of those. It's actually unfortunate, like Batman versus Superman, where they fight at the beginning and then they.
Why is Andy Griffith fighting anybody?
I don't know, because this weird. I think it's the Adam West Batman from the car, if I remember correctly. Just shows up randomly in the town to solve a murder. He thinks he's responsible for the murder. Again, this was years ago, and I can't find the. I've looked for it before, but that site doesn't exist anymore. So I think all traces of it are gone. Yeah, but if I remember correctly, yeah, that's what happened. That someone got murdered in the town Andy Griffin takes place in. And then...
I wonder if it was an important character, too.
I don't know. I don't know enough about that show to know if it was.
Okay. I don't know that much about Andy Griffith.
Yeah, no. I don't know that much about the 60s Batman. I saw that animated thing they did a few years ago.
60s Batman.
I've seen the movie too. That was really funny.
Yeah. With all the bubbles, Yeah. Blam, zoom, jang. I don't know. I'm just making them up.
No, that's funny. Okay, I guess we should move on. We're not.
Yeah.
You know what? If anyone wants to write that fan fiction and send it to us, your own version of it, go ahead.
Maybe we'll get you a feature on the show.
Yeah, I was thinking if we got an interesting enough fan fiction or bad enough fan fiction, we read like expert segment.
That could be interesting.
Okay. Here's a next article.
I'd be down for that.
All the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and introduce it?
So sorry, do you want to read?
No, you go ahead.
So Dine-In Pizza Hut is going the way of the. Basically, they're closing like a ton of their locations. I used to work at a pizza.
Oh, really?
Yeah, once upon a time.
That's
So
funny.
I'm wondering, they were one of the locations that was closed because they were. Maybe I shouldn't talk that much about it, but
It's okay
they were not.
if you worked there a long time ago. They're not gonna sue you
Yeah.
now, especially with them closing.
Yeah.
So I guess the only ones that'll be left are those Taco Bell ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a
So I
bunch
guess
of
you
those.
can still get your personal pan pieces, but you can't get your, actual pizzas.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
that's ironic that you worked at the Pizza Hut because the other place that's shutting down every location, as far as I know, including the one I worked at, is Sears. I was a shoe salesman, and Sears was one of my first jobs. Yep.
Well, I guess now that they're shutting down, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, they weren't a great company, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's that?
They had the weirdest like strategy. They didn't really want you to sell to customers the stuff we had in the location. They wanted you to sit down with them and order the stuff online. Very, very odd.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get.
Yeah,
And then people would get mad at you because you're there because you didn't obviously want to go online.
That's a bizarre business.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck the strategy was there, but it was pretty bad. Even when I worked there in about 2013, and it was still pretty. Well, it's like last legs then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when Sears was good. I can't remember any Sears. Such a boring.
Yeah, it's not a fun place to work.
Yeah. I mean, it just didn't seem like it. Even growing up, I just looked at it like that's a place where fun goes to die.
The only thing interesting that ever happened to me there was he claimed to be this guy came in claiming to be a Black Panther, not the superhero, the actual organization.
Yeah.
And was decked out with like an ammo belt and was carrying a big like an M16 on his back, which legally he could, but not in the store he couldn't because of our policy. So I was the only like guy, and I'm like 6'4". So they sent me to go talk to him. So I had to tell this heavily armed guy to leave the store because they couldn't get the security guard to show up.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think they sold tools there, so I had a Craftsman hammer in my back pocket.
Oh, really?
I don't know what the hell my plan was. See if he pulled something. I guess I was just gonna hit him in the head with a hammer.
Oh, wow. So you were 16 and you had to talk to the...
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
You'd think the manager would handle it.
The manager was a very old woman.
Oh.
I actually feel bad for a lot of the Sears employees that worked at that particular location, because a lot of them got hired in the 80s when it was a good job and like had pensions and you know what I mean. They were lifetime employees.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually do feel really bad that they're losing their job now.
I feel bad about that too.
Yeah,
That's something that doesn't really get touched on in a lot of coverage.
yeah, no, it doesn't. Uh, I'm sure. Hopefully they'll find other jobs.
How That's all I can say. Just hopefully they.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious what's gonna happen to all this retail space now that like Amazon's taking over and all that. There's a bunch of those malls that are just abandoned now.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, like, what we're going to fill up all the space with if we're not
I've
having
always
all these
heard
big
two
box stores.
ideas, and one I really like, and one I think is actually an okay idea. The one idea I heard was
Okay.
making like smaller, affordable houses in like malls and stuff, like little
Oh yeah,
apartments for like cost effective for lower income.
yeah, something like that would be interesting.
The other one was like because I know Amazon's
So
been
each
looking.
store
Oh, go
house.
ahead.
So is each store its own apartment?
Yeah, something like that. Each like commercial space would be its own little small apartment.
Yeah.
You could probably get maybe, from what I read, you could get like 10 to 15 apartments out of it, maybe more if you like expanded because there's a lot of floor space.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I heard was like, and Amazon's been looking into this, was maybe like a physical location that they would store packages and you could come pick them up.
Oh, okay.
Because I
Yeah,
know,
I could see that. I'd hope that as a society we move on to other things other than big box retail.
yeah,
But I'm not even sure I would.
yeah there's actually on that
So
term. There's
it'll
a
be interesting.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, I was just gonna get like
I just,
philosophical there for a second.
yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I always think of that one quote that hits me really hard. It's like we're too late to explore the earth, but we're too early to explore space.
Yeah.
So
There's always especially, on the ocean.
yeah, the ocean has a lot of mysteries to it. I think we've explored more space than the ocean from what I've read.
Yeah, it's true. We've yet to visit a lot of places.
I know
I'm not super knowledgeable on the subject, so I can't nerd out on like all the places that we haven't visited yet. But man, we haven't visited a lot of places underneath the ocean.
yeah, I think James Cameron actually designed some kind of submarine to go really deep down.
Hmm.
It's gonna try to film some of the.
Oh, I just thought of a news story.
Oh, go ahead.
There's a new Castlevania season
Oh
coming.
yeah, I've been meaning to check that out. I'm
It's going to be released on March.
okay. Yeah, I still need to check out the other two seasons.
Oh man, yeah, they're really. I don't remember a whole lot about them because when I watched them, I was in a really bad mental health watch. But
Hmm.
they really helped get me that. So yeah,
Oh, that's good.
it's a good show.
Yeah.
It's really intense in some and surprisingly gory for being
Yeah.
what.
The only Castlevania games I've played are the Lord of Shadow ones, which is an unpopular opinion, but I really like those games.
The only Castlevania game I ever played was and I love the first one.
What the first Lord of Shadows or first?
Castlevania.
Oh, the NES.
No, the very first Castlevania.
Oh, the 8-bit one.
That's the one that I've played.
Yeah, I never played any of those old 8-bit or 16-bit ones.
They're so satisfying. Oh my god. Like they're so hard, but once you learn how to actually maneuver throughout the game, uh, it makes you feel like you're surviving a haunted house just with how quickly things can go to shit if you're not watching every. Uh, they're just really good, janky old games
Yeah, I'm thinking of
with a lot of challenge.
I'm trying to get a gaming PC by the end of the year. So I'll probably start trying to emulate
Ooh,
some of those older games. Played a lot of like old 16-bit games on the. I had a Game Boy Advance, so they ported a lot of that stuff to that console by that time.
yeah, I played a bunch of the Mario games that we on the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I was always a fan of Super Mario
Did you
3.
ever play? Yeah, Super Mario 3 it's a great little. I love Giant World in that game.
Yeah, me too. That was one of my favorite worlds.
Yeah, everything's bigger and yeah, you still kill it. It's really satisfying stepping on a Goomba, a giant Goomba, and still. Because these days, they would give them extra health.
Yeah, I've I've only ever had handheld Nintendo consoles. So I've had that and two.
Really, you've never owned?
Yeah, I had
You didn't
a.
own a Wii?
No, I didn't own a Wii. I had a Game Boy Advance, one of the original Nintendo DS's, and then when Sun and Moon came out, I got a little 2DS secondhand. And I don't have that anymore, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad. I've still
Yeah,
got my 3DS working.
yeah. I'd like to get a Switch eventually.
Yeah, it would be nice. It'd be nice to have one,
So I will
but
move. I guess we should move on to the next news story.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. This is just pretty much hearsay, but Disney is considering making a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, or a live action remake, which I do not
considering
want it
how
to happen.
closely you really don't want this to happen.
I don't want a live. They said in the article they said there might be a live action remake.
Oh yeah.
That
Well,
would
it
be
also said that
terrifying.
it might just. Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I could see them pulling it off in a way, like if they tried adapting it like a stage musical.
Maybe. I'm more
But
worried about the designs.
that's assuming that it'll be another cash grab, like all the
Every
reboots have been.
single one of those live action Disney movies I've seen has been bad, except Maleficent.
Yeah. At least Maleficent had some imagination to it and actually took things in a different direction.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
like about it. If you're gonna retell the same story, tell it at least differently or from a different perspective.
yeah. And I don't like Maleficent. I don't like the direction that it went. But
I haven't watched the sequel.
I'd rather see Maleficent. I'd rather see a version of Maleficent of all these different Disney movies. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like where they go dark and edgy.
or they go ridiculous. Have you seen that Aladdin movie? That's awful.
I know it was just so flat and like
They
Will
butchered one of
Smith
my
and
favorite Disney
CGI just don't
songs.
mix. I felt like the CGI really killed a lot of Will Smith's charisma.
It's less grand. Like the song I'm referring to, they butchered is King Ali, and if you watch the animated version of King Ali, that thing is like grandiose and magical, and then that one is just Will Smith on a street corner, kind of like just waving his thumbs in the air.
Yeah, it wasn't. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, I don't know. I could
I've heard better from Will Smith as well.
yeah, I could see if they did a stop motion sequel though. I'd be interested in that. I don't know. Maybe they could do a different holiday.
A different holiday. I don't
Well,
know.
cause
I
I
think I would
remember in the
rather
movie.
have something that. I was gonna say I think I'd rather have the Halloween world and how it like acts with.
I
That's
just
what
mean
I
I
would
don't
do
want.
with it.
I would love to have the Halloween world. I just think it'd be interesting instead of him trying to do Christmas again, him trying to do a Halloween version of a different holiday.
Yeah, I mean, like
We're getting a lot of
I
feedback
could
on
see
your
them
end.
doing that. Huh?
Getting a lot of noise on your end,
Oh,
like banging.
sorry. I'm
It's
not
all
sure
right.
what. There's banging.
Yeah, it stopped, but it was like a big, like rattling, banging noise.
Oh, I think I know what it. Sorry.
It's all right. I'll try to edit it out. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I think it could be interesting. I don't know what they would do because I feel if they did Christmas again, it might be a little redundant.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess they could do the opposite, where Santa has to do Halloween for some reason. That might be interesting.
Oh, because there's a teenage elf and the elf wants to be scary.
Yeah, that'd be
And
interesting.
so then Santa calls up his old buddy, and that's with quotation.
I don't think he thinks of Jack as a buddy. He kidnapped him.
Well, have you played the Kingdom Hearts games? Because that's a little.
No, I
They
haven't
really
played those.
flesh out. They really flesh out the relationship between. And by
Uh,
really flesh out, I mean there's like a few extra lines.
I know there's also
But yeah,
there's a Nightmare Before Christmas video game on the PS2 that's supposed to have a lot of plot like that. It's called like Oogie's Revenge or something.
yeah, that one's actually canon, and I never got the chance to play it. I was never allowed to. It looks like canon.
Yeah, I watched the like a Let's Play of it once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it seemed pretty interesting. They got the original voice cast back, and it has a bunch of new songs. There's a really good one called like The Only Pumpkin King or something.
Oh, if there's new music, then that's totally worth playing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I wonder
I
if
haven't.
they'll re-release it.
I think it might be on Steam. I know they released a bunch of PS2 games on Steam. Let me Google that real quick.
That would be really. There's another Disney PlayStation 2 game that I really want, and it's The Haunted Mansion. Surprisingly, ghost hunting game.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I really want to play that game again. So I'm crossing my fingers that that's on Steam.
Let me see.
If there's gonna be one Disney game, there should be another, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
In the
appear to be on it.
meantime,
I think you'd have to emulate it.
that's
Okay, so the next news story. This is fascinating if you're a history buff or a conspiracy theory guy, but they have found one of the famous ships that have vanished in the Bermuda Triangle. It vanished almost 95 years ago, and they have just now rediscovered. The Cotopax vanished in 1925. It was bringing coal.
the Cotopaxi.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if I got that wrong.
Yeah, there was an I there that you missed, but it's okay.
Yeah, it was transferring. It was bringing coal to Cuba when it got lost in the storm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and for 95 years, people have been looking for it. And recently, it's been rediscovered off the coast of St. Augustine, Florida.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't that just prove that it was the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah. The Bermuda Triangle is just
Since it
weird.
was
It's
found.
not. It just happens to have a large amount of ships that have gone missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, said conspiracy theory, I thought of all of the conspiracy theories.
Oh,
Oh,
there'll
the
always be
Bermuda Triangle
conspiracy
is
theories.
actually alien.
There's still some unexplained things. Like there's always reports of I don't know how you would put this, like warp tunnels, basically. Like some people get caught in a downdraft and what a flight that should take 4 hours took them 1 hour, and they can't explain how it happened.
Yeah, I'd need to look into those stories before I can comment on them.
Yeah, there's a lot on
But
that.
I mean, that's what they say. It's true. That's what they say.
Yeah, but yeah, it's
And it's all
interesting.
interesting to hear about.
Yeah. The most what I find interesting about this article is according to this article, divers in the area have known about this ship for 15 years. They just couldn't identify it before.
See, we don't explore our oceans, and divers might have already found like uh, parts of Atlantis or something, and we just haven't asked about it. You never.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that stuff fascinating. I almost went into being a history professor.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
was just
awesome.
talked out of it. A lot of the people I know in the industry said it's really hard to get a job into it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's interesting. I wonder if they can determine. It's been such a long time. What exactly? If the storm got it, or like everyone abandoned ship, or what happened to it?
Yeah, it would be cool if they covered that,
Yeah,
but I guess since they just discovered it, they haven't
yeah,
the wreck yet.
yeah. They just started doing research on it. Be cool if they could raise it, maybe.
Fascinating, really cool.
Okay, let's see
Uh,
what else we got here. Oh, this is one of yours. I'm not. I'll let you introduce this because I'm not super familiar with this studio. I know of them.
oh yeah. So there was concept art revealed for the Studio Ghibli theme park, and the images look really cool. There's different areas for like different like there's a dining area inspired by Spirited Away. Although why you would want to eat there and turn into a pig,
See, see, that's funny. That's
that's
the
what
only
happens
one I've
in that
ever
movie.
seen fully. Is Spirited Away.
Yeah.
I don't like it too much, or at least
I'm
when I was a
hoping
kid.
there's you didn't like it.
When I was a kid, yeah, I didn't like. I found it boring. But I was a young kid.
Really? Usually people love that movie.
Yeah. There's one I really want to see. I keep meaning to watch it. Princess Mononoke, I think is how you pronounce it.
Princess Mononoke.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Princess Mononoke is good, probably more your style. It's less of a kids movie. Uh,
That.
PG-13
Yeah.
film. Like
There's
there's
a.
gore. There's a part where the dude's arm comes off, and it's really gross, and it scarred me as a child. It was my first time seeing anime gore, and I was not prepared.
Dang.
And the way it happens doesn't even make sense because the dude shoots an arrow, and then it hits this other dude, and then his arm, and it's unclear. His arms go, and they to the see. It's a great movie. This
Yeah.
all happens in the space of a
Yeah.
few seconds.
Movies. Especially anime does not have to be serious for me. I don't remember liking Spirited Away, and that's the only one I've seen. I'm sure I would like other ones. There's one that seems really interesting to me about a witch that does deliveries. I think is Ghibli.
Yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, I'd probably find that interesting.
Yeah, that's one I need to watch. That one's got a lot of history. Uh, a lot of dubs changed. I think there's like 3 different dubs
Huh.
that exist of it. Because there's the first dub, and then I think the VHS version dub, and then the Disney dub, and they're all like people don't like the others, so people are like very salty about like which dub is the.
It's
At least
funny
that's what I've
that
heard.
you mentioned that the blood scared you when you were a kid. I remember the first time I ever like felt like actual like super depressed was there was this anime,
Yeah.
and most anime I've seen is on was on Toonami for a long time. So there's this
Yeah.
anime I believe called Samurai X. It was about like a redheaded samurai. It's been years since I've
Okay.
seen it,
I
but I
don't
always
remember that show, but all right.
yeah. Well, I distinctly remember it, just this one part of it. It wasn't the samurai himself, but the samurai himself had a friend who was who carried like a big ass sword, and this was medieval times when this show came out, or like early 1800s, or at least that's what the setting
Right.
was. And
Hmm.
this guy had a group of friends who were like his squad mates, and they were like the toughest samurais, and no one could beat them. But this one guy comes from America, brings a Gatling gun, and all of this guy's friends get like mowed down by this Gatling gun, so he can defeat him, and then he has to bury his friends. And I remember that being the first time ever I got really depressed at like any kind of media.
Yeah, anime fucks you up, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only other thing maybe was The Fox and the Hound. That movie to this day depresses me with the ending, but not like that.
Oh yeah, I need to see that one again. See if
It's a
that
bit
one gets
long,
old.
but it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was always a big fan of The Rescuer.
Yeah, I like the Rescuers Down Under.
No, I liked the original
Oh, yeah, I know of
where
the
they
original. I
rescued
just
the
like the
little
Down Under
girl.
better.
Yeah, I mean I see that. I used to like Down Under better.
Yeah. I saw it more as a kid. We had the thing
Yeah.
in Texas where if it rained, they would put on a Disney movie, but they only had so many VHSs of Disney movies when I was a kid. So it was that, The Fox and the Hound, Snow White. I think that was actually it was all older. I think the newest one they ever had, like the most modern Disney one they had at the time, was Tarzan.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah, I never cared for. I like Tarzan movies. I just don't like the Disney's Tarzan.
Really? I like the Disney Tarzan. I also know that's a little
I just I don't like the music, and I think the style, especially now, I think the style is kind of odd.
the style meaning the visuals or
Just the character designs. Yeah, the
the
visuals, I
character
guess.
design.
Yeah, I think Tarzan looks a little weird. His
Okay.
face is kind of like longish.
His face is really long. Like it's ridiculous. His
Yeah,
chin could poke holes in paper. Like
yeah. My
if
favorite.
you like his face doesn't match up to Jane's very.
Yeah, Jane looks fine.
It looks like she's okay, I'm done.
Yeah. So my favorite Disney movie from when I was a kid was Hercules.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always loved Hercules.
You'd love Kingdom Hearts then. There's a Hercules level in every single one.
Yeah, I need to play those. You know, ironically, I think I did rent it once, but I could. Something came up, and I only ever played the beach level, which is like the introductory level, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So many people got stuck. Just
Would it be a
everybody
little
got
hard
stuck
right
on that
now?
level.
Don't you have to play like 15 games to get up to the third game, like plot wise?
Let's count it up. We have to play Kingdom Chain of Memories, 2, Kingdom Hearts Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 3D, Kingdom Hearts Coded, Kingdom use the cell phone. I think that's all of them.
That's insane.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days,
What the
which is the
hell?
most ridiculous.
Did that guy not want to
Yeah,
finish the game or something?
358 over 2 days.
Yeah,
You mean
What I'm thinking is the guy must have really liked making those games or something, and he never wanted to make a third one.
Yeah, I mean, well, what they love is money, because every single one of these games has been, as far as I know,
Yeah, I'm
except
surprised
for this
Disney lets him play.
original cell phone game, which they never finished. And that's my Kingdom Hearts deep lore cut.
Yeah,
Thanks for listening. Good night,
my my
everybody.
my favorite so I've never played those games and I don't have much context, but my when the third game came out, I loved seeing clips of like Woody and Buzz talking about darkness consuming their hearts and shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just so funny to hear from Buzz Lightyear saying how he thinks he's like he has no heart or something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And it's canon to the movies too. At least that's what I heard.
that's insane.
I heard somebody say that it was canon. So now it's canon to me.
That'd be fun. I would love them to go because I know they mostly do the movies, but that'd be funny if they did like Disney afternoon shows.
In Kingdom Hearts, I would kill that.
Can you
Oh
imagine
man.
like
DuckTales in
I was
Kingdom
gonna
Hearts
say
would be
Darkwing Ducks. Darkwing Duck would be kind of funny.
yeah, Darkwing Duck would work. Tailspin would work really well. Gargoyles would be essential. I'm surprised they haven't done gargoyles already.
I need to see whenever I'm still not getting Disney Plus yet, but when I get it, I want to watch that because I missed that as a kid. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Gargoyles is worth watching easily.
Actually, have you been watching the new DuckTales at all? That's actually really good.
Yeah, I have. But I stopped watching the new ones after they brought back a really bizarre character that I
Uh,
didn't expect them to bring back from the
I'll
original series.
I'll cut it out if we
A
need
little.
to. But
Oh, all
are
of
you talking
that cut
about the
out.
mom? Talking about Della Duck?
Huh?
Are you talking about their mom?
No, I'm talking about the little ball people. The
Gummy bears?
I forget what. Huh?
The gummy bears?
No. Uh,
Have I seen
did
the
a
whole?
gummy bear show up in the new Duck?
They're mentioned. They don't
Okay.
actually. So like, there's a part where it's like, oh yeah, this ancient civilization could bounce around, and they show like old footage. Then you know, I can't explain it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, there's a deep cut, but I'm trying to remember what you're
That's awesome.
the ball people. I'm trying to remember. Oh, when they go in the subway is what you're talking about.
Yeah, when they go into the subway and
I
like the
didn't know those
ball
guys were
people
in the
cause.
original. Yeah, I didn't know they were in the original show
Huh?
at all. I didn't know those were in the
They
original.
were in the original. They
Oh.
were in the original for one terrible episode, one terrible one-off episode, and then after I saw them do that, I was like, well, shit, I've got to watch all of original DuckTales in case they bring it.
Well,
So now I'm just trying to watch
I
all
haven't seen
of
much original
DuckTales before
DuckTales
I watch.
actually. I've seen a bit of it, but I was more of a Darkwing fan. So
Yeah,
I get a lot of the references, but yeah, that one I had no idea. Um,
yeah.
you need to see the
It's
Dark.
really
Even if you don't watch the rest of it, you need to see the Darkwing episode.
though. There's a Darkwing episode for.
Oh, it's so good. What they do with Darkwing is such an amazing twist.
All right, get to.
Yeah, you can watch that. That one's like a self-contained thing.
Oh, really?
That one, yeah, it's not much about, I think Scrooge and Dewey are in it, but they don't really play a big role. It's mostly about Launchpad and Darkwing. And they actually get the actual guy to play Darkwing again.
Oh, they really did.
Yeah, but there's a really good twist with it, and I won't go further than that, but
Okay. Well, I'll give that one a watch
yeah, I'll send it to
and
you. I
let you
know
know
when
what.
I think you can watch it free on one of the Disney things.
Yeah, I mean, I have Disney.
Okay, yeah, then just look at trust me. I'll send you the episode name, but you gotta watch that.
Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Invisible Man came and people. Well, I'm not sure how the reviews were because when I sent you this article, it was before.
Oh, it's out?
So we might as well just pull up the Rotten Tomatoes score real quick because
I had no idea this was coming out, and I usually keep up on a bunch of films, so let me see.
yeah.
Now, I do know, so this isn't the Invisible Man we're talking about. I do know the Invisible Man is actually public domain, so anyone can make it. Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, so is
It's
this
not quite
not?
out yet. It'll be out on the 28th.
No, I was gonna say, is this not the Universal Invisible Man?
No one knows what's going on
Because
with
yeah,
that
it's made by Universal Pictures, so it's
because they
the
keep
right.
canceling that. They keep trying to bring that whole Universal Monsters universe back, but then every time they've done it, the movies aren't quite successful enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think
exactly.
the first one was Dracula Untold, which is a very odd movie. I can't even say it's that bad, but it's just odd. The
Right.
second one was the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, which I haven't seen yet. Which
Yeah, but I mean, I heard it was bad, and I trust
yeah,
the people who said it was bad. So
I just wish they had. If I was gonna do these movies, uh, just use the original Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser. Like, just count that as canon if you're gonna do it.
oh yeah,
Because those are
start from
also
there.
owned by Universal, so you could just done that. You could have just said, okay, those three Mummy movies were canon. Then we do this Dracula. Then I guess Frankenstein, the Wolfman, which they also made a fantastic Wolfman movie a few years ago with oh, I can't remember his name. There was
Yeah, I don't remember his name either, but I know which one you're talking about.
yeah. So you could have. I think that one's made by Universal. You could have strung those movies together, especially being that they're horror movies that take place in different time periods.
Yeah, it's easy to
Anthony
say
Hopkins,
like
if I
different
get
things are in different canons, but it's harder to actually do it in something. Like, have you heard of um
the what? Sorry, I
the
lost you there.
extended universe for DC?
Yeah, I've heard of it before. Like, they like the little TV shows
I
connected.
was
Like the
gonna say more, but then you said
oops,
something.
sorry. Go ahead.
I'm talking specifically about what they did recently, and I forget which show, but it was one of their TV shows. Not all of the TV shows that DC has ever done together. And it was
Oh yeah, I've
Crisis
heard of
on
that.
Infinite. Yeah, and like the way they brought the Adam West show back by using stock footage.
They brought back the Adam West
And
show in that.
yeah, they did. The Adam West show is canon in the DC universe now
Okay, I gotta look that up
because of the
because
Crisis on Infinite Earth.
I thought it was just
Yeah,
Smallville and then all the other CW shows. Because I
yeah,
wonder
it
if they have
includes Smallville. It includes
I wonder if they have stupid stuff
all
like
of
Birds
it.
of Prey. They have Birds of Prey in there.
It includes Birds of Prey.
No one remembers Birds of Prey.
They remembered Birds of Prey.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's
You should
insane.
check it out.
That'd be
Yeah,
really
I'll
funny if
link
they
it to
have
you.
the old Superman. My dad showed me that once. There was an old Superman show called Lois and Clark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it was actually had the actor from the '70s Superman in it. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out. I never watched any of those DC shows. I am a fan of
Yeah, it's
Supernatural. I watch it off and on. That show's pretty.
alright. I'm just trying to find the video that talks about it so that you can watch it. But Maybe I should do this later.
Yeah, you can send it to me later, and I'll take a look at it.
Alright. So what's next?
Okay, I think actually going into that Invisible Man cinematic universe, which might actually hint at them doing cinematic verse, is Universal is looking to make a classic horror themed attraction at their park. It'll be all the classic films from the 30s to probably the 60s, I imagine.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I would love that. I'd love that they did I would love to see Frankenstein's Lab, Dracula's Castle.
Yeah. I just don't see them doing it. Are there plans to actually
Let me look at the
it's
article, but I
really
think
happened?
yeah, they announced it.
Well,
Yep,
shit. That's awesome.
it's cool. I don't know if they're gonna have. There's a lot of those movies.
I'm probably most excited for the Wolfman.
Wolfman's my favorite classic horror movie.
Yeah, mine too.
I don't
I
know
remember
what you
watching
would.
that back.
I don't know what you would do, as far as you'd have to make it a ride or something, or like a part of the park. But I don't know what scenery you could take from that movie.
There's a video for it.
Yeah, I think it's just plans, but here I'll try to mute this. I'm seeing if they have any concept art. No, it's just
Yeah,
maps
there's
right
an
now.
entire video.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through it right now. They just have the map layout. They don't have concept art for it really.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it's in the early days of development.
Oh, by concept art, you mean stuff that's
Yeah, like the studio Ghibli we just looked at had some art of what the park would look like.
oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't have that yet.
Well, they have blueprints. That's something.
That'd be cool. I want to see what they do.
So it looks like it looks like one of the rides is going to be a dark ride, which is cool. It'd be interesting if they were to be a fast ride too. They have a chance to do something, new, have it be a fast dark ride.
Yeah. I'm
instead
kind of
of just,
curious which monsters they'll use. I know they'll use the big four probably, Dracula, the Mummy, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, probably Creature from Black Lagoon. But there's some other ones in that
And that's
lineup.
exactly what they said. They said not only do you expect Frankenstein's monster, but also Dracula, the Wolfman, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, the Phantom of the Opera, and the Creature from the Black.
Okay, yeah, I see what I was curious if they would include the Phantom of the Opera and the one. There's a lot lesser known from that era.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do it. Hopefully, get some of the more obscure ones there.
Yeah, it'd be neat if they could pull in some public domain monsters. Like Nosferatu is actually fully up for grabs.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know how you
Maybe.
I don't know how you recreate it because that wasn't really that much makeup. That guy actually kind of looked like.
Prosthetics.
Yeah, I guess.
But
there's actually a very good movie on that because there was always a myth around Hollywood that guy was an actual vampire.
Oh really?
Yeah, because that was kind of the bad thing. I mean, it was the early 1900s, but that's why he got cast in a lot of horror movies. Yeah, kind of a sucky thing, but he made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's also I also know the guy who plays Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. His dad was in a bunch of Universal monster films before he was. So there's a lot of those monsters they could pull from.
Right.
Yeah. Be interesting what rides they do too. Like you said, the dark ride should be interesting. I guess they could do
Yeah, I really hope it blows the Haunted Mansion up because I love the Haunted Mansion. There has to be something new at some. So this looks like.
Yeah. I even though I don't like roller coasters, I could totally see them doing a Frankenstein themed roller coaster.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, like imagine like the peak where you're about to, I don't know what you call that when
Through the cast.
they stop the roller coaster before you drop. Like I could see like lightning hitting some testicles before you drop. Yeah. I think for news that's pretty much it. I know
Yeah.
I know I recently saw some pictures of the new Batman. It looks really odd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull it up. New
Okay.
Batman. But other than that, I don't think there's much else. Yeah, someone leaked a bunch of images. It's not a very good looking suit. It's not the worst Batman suit I've ever seen, but it looks like kind of Mad Max. Posting the
All
article
right.
now so Scarlett can see it.
Wait, Mad Max. Oh. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, you get what I see.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks very like
Yeah.
stitched together. Doesn't look very kind of high tech.
Yeah. It looks dirty.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love his motorcycle's really dumb looking too. So they're really like they took a existing Harley and just took the windshield off of it to make it look like it's bat themed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
don't
mean
know.
for the motorcycle?
Yeah, you notice how the
The
front end.
bat cycle?
Yeah, it has the little bat ears, but I think that's just where the windshield would go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know that all those DC movies have been hit or miss lately.
It would be really easy to skewer yourself on your motorcycle. That weird.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. If you just flung a little forward.
Yeah, they're lucky nobody got into an accident
Yeah.
during shooting so far.
Yeah. They're so I actually a few months back saw that Joker movie. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it. I didn't care for it as much as other people, which is okay. I usually don't care for things as much as other people.
Yeah. I can understand that.
It was
I don't
it
feel it needed to
was
be. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
good. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted.
No, no, I interrupted
Go
you. Go
ahead and
ahead.
say what you were going to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't feel it needed to be like DC or Batman related. I feel it could have stood on its own.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, as you were saying.
And I'm kind of worried that they're by tying it into the rest of the universe.
Yeah, I know they're making a second one. I don't know if they're tying these movies together anymore.
You mean a second joke?
Yeah, it's been announced already. I don't know how,
Wow.
but
I wonder. I just wonder how it's gonna go.
yeah, me too.
I guess it'll really pump people up for when the next time the Joker and the Batman fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
I
now they both have their own franchise.
yeah. The
So
Joker, I've always liked that his origin was kind of just random. If you've read any of the Joker's origins, they're always different. That's actually one of my favorite quotes by him.
yeah,
Yeah, I think in the I haven't read the
I've always
comics.
heard.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying the same thing, man. I haven't read any, so.
Yeah, there's a good. It's not that great. It's a little weird, but they did do the Killing Joke, which is apparently a really big comic. But there's a line I like in there that the Joker says is like, "Yeah, sometimes I remember my past one way, sometimes another way. I prefer my past to be multiple choice." So his like past could be anything, honestly. Yeah.
And that's what people really liked about him for so long.
Yeah.
Not necessarily past, that you could read into the Joker basically, and it was.
They're actually the next DC movie I'm actually excited for is the new Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that should be good. Hopefully.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for it recently. It looks good.
I wonder what they're going to do.
Oh, I can
We keep doing.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to keep. We don't mean to keep talking over each other. We're just not good with timing yet.
Yeah, it's just we both keep getting started at the same time.
So the trailer I saw, it's in 1984, so they're keeping it out of modern day probably because of losing the Batman and Superman. Uh,
Hmm.
she's fighting some kind of I guess might be a god, might be some kind of trickster god. He gives people what they want, but he takes something in return. Is what I could tell.
Okay.
So what Wonder Woman wanted, and I can't. The whole trailer spoils this. Is she gets back Steve, the guy from the first movie who sacrifices himself.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yes. So he's like. It looks like he's a big part of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good because she was one of my favorite parts of that movie.
Yeah. Me too.
I really enjoyed him.
Yeah. I really wish they had changed his name though, because they I read about this. The reason it takes place in World War I is because that character originally it happens in World War II, but he's so close to Captain America that they changed it to World War I.
Really?
Yeah, well, he has a similar
Wow.
name. He looks like him, and he even kind of acts like him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it should be interesting. And they have one of my favorite like DC villains, Cheetah.
Wait, really? She's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I don't know what she's gonna look like as a villain. I have an idea who she is in the movie because they show like Wonder Woman hanging out with a friend. And I'm pretty sure that's who Cheetah's gonna
Mhm.
be, but she's not. She's not wearing a cheetah suit, and she's not like an Afro cheetah in the trailer, so I don't know. Yeah, should be interesting. I don't know. Hopefully they don't go too like super 80s with it. Sometimes they can go weird with that.
Yeah. Trying to appeal too much to the 80s.
Yeah, I think that's the big new trend, honestly, since Stranger Things.
Yeah, it is. So it needs to die.
Yeah, I'm curious to see when the 90s becomes the big trend.
What if it never becomes this?
I don't know the 90s because I I was born in '96 and then kind of grew up in the early 2000s, but I remember a lot of the '90s stuff. The '90s is a really
I
weird
was born
decade.
in '93.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's a really weird decade. So I don't know what that would entail.
So how long have we been talking?
Uh, unfortunately, my recording software doesn't really go that like tell me the time. But I think we've been talking for about an hour. We can hang it up here if you'd like.
I guess if that's cool. Was there anything else that needed to be said?
No. Um. Please just subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. Send us any
Yeah.
send us any questions at scarlettwolfpod@gmail.com. Um. Other than that, I think we are good.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye.